Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining today at A Recipe for a Great Resume or CV. Thank you once again for your time and compromise and dedication to join us. Today, we're going to talk about the different structure and the different aspects to have in mind when creating a resume or a CV when we're job hunting for a new opportunity. We will share some tips from the inside from the recruiter or selection process for you as future candidates to have in mind when looking for new opportunity. So welcome again. We will navigate through the different aspects of a resume or CV. Um, just a quick clarification. So CV and resume are the same. It changes according to the country or region, but it's the same. It contains the same information about one person. So going into the CV, the first thing that we want to identify are the main three aspects that we have to work on. So the first one is going to be the introduction, where we have our name, surname, maybe our job title, our contact information, and a short introduction about ourselves, our professional goal, or any technical skills that we want to highlight. Then we will go into our work history. This is where we're going to share basically from the most recent job or the current job I'm at, all the way back till my first experience. I would try to keep them relevant to the work or the position that you are applying for and make sure it's a growing. If you don't have experience, then it's fine. You can add any experience you have there. The important thing is to remember to to share them in a historical way. So you go from the most recent all the way back. And the same for education and any other academic accomplishments like certifications or languages or any other skills that you would like to highlight. Again, the education will also go from the highest all the way back to high school. Certifications are going to be the ones that you have for specific, and then we'll go into any other skills. Going into detail about the introduction, so we are going to have our header, which will have our name, our last name, optional to have a job title if you feel it's relevant or important to have. And then we were going to add our contact information, mostly a phone and email. If you have a social media link, that would be great, such as LinkedIn or Facebook. Recruiters also use this as a tool to reach out to candidates. And if you are currently working or looking for an opportunity abroad, I highly recommend you adding if you have the work permit or not, or will you require sponsorship. Make sure the information is accurate and correct, and add that as a value information to your resume. Going more into the introduction and skills, so I recommend not writing more than 3 to 4 lines about yourself. You want to highlight your professional and or personal goals, what you're aiming for, why you want this job, any big achievement that you would like to highlight above your work experience. And this is more for technical positions, but if you have any highlighted technical skills, then you would have to put them in bullet points and list them underneath. Not more than 5. Just list the most important ones and relevance for the job that you are looking for. When sharing our work history, we are going to share in this structure, we're going to put our title, the company, where we were sitting, if we worked in different locations, the period of time, and then we are going to list our main responsibilities and achievements. Again, try to use active verbs. So these are going to be like implemented, I created, I achieved this and that, I was able to, like, make sure you can make very clear the impact of yourself for that position or in that project. So you can So the recruiter or the person who sees your resume will understand how impactful you were. If you had more than one role within the same company, you also want to list it within the same company, not as a different experience, but within the same company. You can list that you grew into that role from a junior um, position, and so on. And again, just a reminder, you will go, the first one will be your most recent position or your current role all the way back. When we are going to list our education or academic accomplishments, then what we're going to do is the same kind of structure. We are going to put first our education or higher education after high school. And we will also go from the most recent all the way back to high school. You don't necessarily have to share all the degrees that you have. Just keep it to the relevant or most important ones. If you have a PhD, a master's, and a bachelor's, then there's no need for a high school degree. If you only have a bachelor's degree, then you might want to put the bachelor's and a high school degree. Or if you have a technical, again, you will see how to manage that accordingly to the job that you are currently aiming for. After this, you can add the certifications. These are more technical and very specific certifications. It will also be related and dependable on the position that you are applying for. Some positions might require specific certifications, while other is not really necessary, or it might be just a nice to have. These can be maybe a Scrum Master certification for anyone in the Agile methodology, or a project manager position, or we can talk more about technical certifications, such as you can get some at AWS or at any other kind of technical, more relevant for that specific role. If you have any other skills, such as languages, I also recommend you to add them. This is very valuable information to have. You would add what your native language is, such as Spanish, in this case, or English also, and then you will add any other language if you know, and be accurate about the level. So these can be either only writing and reading comprehension, or you can put that you're conversational, you're professional proficient, or you're advanced, or native, or second language. Again, try to identify your level and be as accurate as possible. When analyzing the structure of a CV, this is how it would look. So going into the details, as I said at the beginning, in the header, we will have our personal information, such as our name, our surname, our job title, if that's the option, and our contact information, like a phone number, email address, the social media link if we have one, and so on. After this, we'll put our introduction and our personal profile, which is related to our personal and professional goals, our skills that we want to list, our technical skills, and any highlight that we want to share, any accomplishments that we feel that are relevant and very important to know from the beginning for someone who reads our CV. Then we will go into the work experience. Another tip on this section would be to add as many time as you can are any keywords that you identify from the job description. When, as recruiters, we get a job description, we identify the keywords, and that is what we're going to use to source talent. So you want to make sure that you are using those keywords as much as possible in your CV, so that way you'll have a better chance for recruiters to reach out to you. After the work experience, we will go into education and certifications. These are all our academic accomplishments. And after, and not last, but not least, then it would be other skills such as languages or any other skill you feel relevant. Maybe you're learning a new programming language or something, and you can add it there as well, as long as you feel it's adding value to your professional development and it is relevant to the role that you are currently looking for or aiming for. Um, so again, this is the structure about how to have a great CV. Again, try to keep it listed, clean, use bullet points if you prefer. Especially when you're listing technical skills, I highly recommend you to use bullet points and use as many as you can of the keywords that you find in the job description. Another tip would be to also to tailor your CV according to each application. This might be challenging, but I recommend you taking the time to do that so you will be able to connect with that job and even with the recruiter who's working on that role when you apply. Thank you so much again for joining. My name is Maria Sol Acevedo. I am sitting in Latvia. I work for Strategic Staffing Solutions International for 2 years now, and I'm a recruitment and operations specialist for Latin America. Thank you so much.